Good morning, everyone. This is Maryam Hammari and this is
Qasab Saleh.
and today we'll be discussing the concept of artificial intelligence. And the title of our presentation is The Disappearance of Physicians.
So let us start with the real-life situation. Watching a movie called You Are Not You made us dwell upon the concept of artificial intelligence competing with the human ways of knowledge and its repercussion on humans.
And from this real-life example, we have extracted a knowledge question, which is to what extent is it ethical and reliable for artificial intelligence to compete with the human ways of knowledge?
But before this, let's start with defining artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science that is concerned with the automation of human intelligent behavior. The ways of knowledge that will be used in this presentation are memory, emotion, and reason.
As for the areas of knowledge that we'll be discussing throughout this presentation, there are ethics and the natural sciences. We have conducted a survey in order to gather evidence for our arguments that we will be proposing throughout this presentation. The survey was conducted on a sample size of 20 people, whose ages ranged from 17 years old to 45 years old. And all of the people that we have interviewed, they are a diverse group that come from different social classes. In fact, we have used the method of social stratification in our survey and in choosing the people that we want to interview in order to get the best results and in order to gather a sample size that is best representative of the population of Amman. Also, a quarter or 5 of the people that we interviewed were expertise in the medical field.
The first question that was asked was, would you trust a machine or a human to operate on you? 90% of the people responded to a human, whereas only 10% of the people responded to machines.
As for the second question that was asked, it was, will machines take over the human race and lower employment rates in the future? 50% of the people thought that machines will actually take over in the future, while 45% said that the human race will continue to be the dominant race, while 5% remained agnostic.
And we also asked them, which will occur in the future, progression or regression? 70% of the people responded with saying, of course, progression. However, 25% of the people responded with saying regression, and only 5% of the people remained agnostic.
The fourth question that was asked in the survey, it was, in your opinion, will machines harm or benefit the environment? 40% thought that the production and usage of machines will harm the environment in the future and in the present. 40% thought that the production and usage of artificial intelligence machines will benefit the environment in some way, while 20% remained agnostic. As for the fifth question, it was, do you think that the medical field will vanish in the future due to the expansion of the use of artificial intelligence? 20% thought that yes, machines will take over in the future, especially in the medical field, while 80% thought that the human race and humans will remain the supreme race in this field and in all fields in general. And this brings us to our first argument. Our first argument is artificial intelligence machines can only be as smart as the people who created it. In fact, new research suggests that one of the most new advanced artificial intelligence machines created is only about as smart as a preschooler. An artificial intelligence system known as ConceptNet 4 has an IQ similar to that of a 4-year-old. The machine aced its vocabulary test, however, it lacked the sound and prudence judgment of a 4-year-old. Truth is relative, and knowledge is subjective. Knowledge is not a concrete substance, but an abstract concept that we construct throughout the whole of our lives. And none of us has or will ever reach complete truth or definite knowledge. So how do we expect a machine to do so?
Well, Artificial intelligence has a memory capacity larger than that of humans. Let's go to the ways of knowledge, memory. Isn't artificial intelligence in this aspect competing with the human ways of knowledge? In fact, humans, since the beginning of time, have evolved and developed machines that have properties that outrage that of humans. Truth is relative. We will never reach truth in the end because we will never know whether humans will be more efficient in operations or whether machines will be more efficient. However, we cannot go straight to incomplete induction and deduce general statements without taking into consideration all the premises.
As for our second argument, human is about the emergent properties. Humans were created to have emergent properties. Emergent properties are a collection or a set of complicated properties that are found in a complex system, however, they're not found in the individual organs. For example, the human body has emergent properties, but a single organ, the heart for example, does not have these emergent properties. These emergent properties enable humans to gain knowledge, operate intelligently, and complete various tasks efficiently. Machines do not have emergent properties. The individual parts of a robot do not work in harmony and complete each other the way they do in the human body, for example, which makes it unethical and unreliable for a machine to operate on another human. In addition to this, machines do not have the ways of knowledge that humans have. For example, machines do not have emotion as a way of knowledge. Humans do have that. Since machines' emotion enables humans to have empathy for each other. Machines do not have that. Therefore, a machine, a piece of metal, will not have the empathy for the human it is operating on. When a human surgeon is operating on another human, they will have empathy for the patient, and their emotions will encourage them to do their best, to do whatever they can do to save the life of the human they're operating on, even if they're 100% sure that the operation is a failure and this person is going to end up dying. However, their empathy and emotion motivates them to keep on working to save the human life. You cannot simply expect this from a machine, because the machine does not have the ways of knowledge that humans have. A machine cannot be motivated to save the human life because it does not have emotion. It does not have the empathy that humans have for each other. It does not have the complexity of human behavior and human psychology. Also, a machine only has an algorithm installed into it, which allows it to do a set of tasks. When a situation reaches a dead end, the machine will not be able to exceed the set of tasks that it was made to do. In addition to this, machines do not have the way of knowledge imagination. Imagination is a way of knowledge that allows humans to come up with innovative ideas and creative solutions in tough problems. Humans do not have that. This makes a malfunction during an operation a problem, a major problem and a repetitive occurrence. An example on this is my aunt who lives in Sweden. She was diagnosed with cancer only a couple of years ago, and she had to go through chemotherapy as a treatment, just like all cancer patients do. However, in the middle of the process, the machine that performs the chemotherapy malfunctioned and it stopped in the middle of the process. And if it weren't for the human doctors who were there, my aunt was on the verge of dying.
Well. Emotions and imagination do not exist in machines or artificial intelligence. However, these traits can be programmed into artificial intelligence through electrocardiographic devices. In fact, Harvard's Paul Johnson Center for Medical Center has now been progressing in finding ways to program these traits into artificial intelligence. The center will be working together to visualize what happens in the visual cortex of the human brain to develop and create more complex and accurate artificial intelligence. In fact, it was also discovered that even artificial genes can be put into these artificial intelligence. And if you may ask how, well, artificial gene synthesis is a synthesis that happens in the laboratory. What happens is that they get bacterial or yeast chromosomes containing approximately 1 million base pairs to find and make a double-stranded DNA molecule that has no apparent limits in either the sequence or the size of the DNA. So, if we are able to now even have artificial DNA in these artificial intelligence, and if we are able to put traits into these artificial intelligence and program these traits accurately and into a complex way, then artificial intelligence can be a step in the right direction. We can have a more reliable and a more ethical way of curing patients, of curing all these diseases that are happening, and even it will bring benefit to us humans and to the human race as in all. An example on this is my aunt who lives in Germany. Recently, Germany has been using artificial intelligence to cure skin diseases. My aunt, before 2 years, went to Germany because she had extreme acne. And now, although some malfunctions may have happened during the process, these malfunctions all help these physicians to also to help to create better artificial and more complex artificial intelligence. But now she is free from acne 100% and she is not facing any problems with her acne or her face.
As for a third argument, we're going to look at this issue from a different perspective. We're going to look at it from an ecocentric perspective. Looking at the issue ecocentrically, the production and usage of artificial intelligence machines requires large amounts of energy. Because we're burning fossil fuels, we're utilizing natural resources in order to produce these machines, which greatly harms the ozone layer, produces greenhouse gases, and harms the environment in general. Mother Nature is already suffering, and we were nurtured to love Mother Nature and protect it because this is where we live, and this is where the future generations that are yet to come are going to live. Therefore, we have to do our best to protect Mother Nature for our sake and for the sake of the future generations. The production and usage of artificial intelligence does not do that. In fact, it harms the environment even more. An example on this is in India and China. They're one of the most industrialized nations. They have the highest real GDP. However, they have cancer villages, they have a lot of greenhouse gases, and there's a lot of pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, different types of pollution there just because they rely heavily on the production of capital machines. In addition to this, let's also look at it from an anthropocentric point of view. The artificial intelligence machines, the production and usage of them, not only harms the environment but the human race as well, because it's harming the economy. It's harming the economy because when we rely heavily on the production and usage of artificial machines, the employment rates will actually rise. People will lose their jobs because machines will be replacing them. And at this point, I want to refer back to our statistics, where we asked people whether they think that artificial intelligence machines will actually harm or benefit the environment. 40% said it would harm, 40% said it would benefit in some way, while 20% remained agnostic. And 50% of the people we interviewed actually thought that machines will take over in the future. An example on this is my grandpa, who lost his job in the 50s because of industrialization. The owner of his factory decided to use capital machines instead of humans in order to produce goods. So my grandpa had to lose his job.
Well, from a utilitarian and also from an anthropocentric perspective, it is ethical because we are benefiting the majority of the people. Let's think about it from, let's say, a different perspective. If we are finding cures for incurable diseases, and if we are benefiting the people that are diagnosed with all these diseases, and if we are benefiting our society, then why not use these artificial intelligence? Wouldn't it be an ethical way of helping these people? An example on this is paralysis of the body. physicians have tried so many procedures to find cures for paralysis. However, they were not able to come up with any curable cures. This is where artificial intelligence participates with these diseases. Artificial intelligence can cooperate with the nerve cells of our body because it is programmed to do so, and it can actually start to make our body move in different ways. And this movement of the body gets our nerve cells used to moving in this constant way. And when it starts to move in this constant way, the person who is paralyzed will be able to start having a spark or any kind of movement in their body. In fact, a girl was paralyzed when she was 16 due to a severe car accident. The doctor said that it is impossible for her to move from any part below her neck. However, today, she is able to move her shoulders, her back, and even her hips. So I'm pretty sure artificial intelligence has done a great job to this woman.
As for our fourth argument, why do we always associate the future with progression and not regression? Why do we always assume that the future holds progression of technology and development? What if technology suddenly plummets down? What if instead of progressing, we will actually stop or start regressing, which is going back? We never know what happens. We never know. We cannot and commit the fallacy of incomplete induction and pretend that we're 100% sure that progression will actually occur in the future. For example, the medieval Islamic world was at its best. There are a lot of scientists who set the basics of science as we know it today. They were the most developed of nations back then. But now, look at us now. Look at the Islamic world now. They have been regressing ever since. And this is the biggest example and biggest proof that regression might actually occur instead of progression.
However, scientifically, there is empirical evidence that there will be progression in the future. Let us take a look at our statistics. 70% of the people said that progression will occur, whereas only 30% of the people said that regression will occur. Or let's look at it even from a different perspective. The medical field has been prosperous since the beginning of the 20th century. And in the 20th century, the technology was not as developed as now. Looking at technology today, we can create supreme things. We can create artificial intelligence in a way that it can even compete with the human brain. So if in the 20th century they were able to start the idea of artificial intelligence, I am more than sure that today, in the 21st century, we will be able to develop on these artificial intelligence and progress in them.
As for our fifth and final argument, yes, we can use our experiential knowledge, we can use our intuition to predict that the future holds nothing but progression. However, are we sure that these artificial intelligence machines that will be produced in the future or in the present are able to cure all diseases? In fact, there are so many diseases that machines cannot cure. I agree, machines are quite amazing creations of the human race. Let's not forget here that humans are the ones who created these machines. As aforementioned, machines do not have imagination, they do not have emotion, they do not have intuition, all of these ways of knowledge that humans have. So they will not be able to do the amazing things that humans were created to do. They will, even if they develop to a vast extent in the future or in the present, they will not be able to cure all diseases, they will not be able to do whatever humans are doing now or whatever humans will be doing in the future. An example on this is a friend of mine who was diagnosed with HIV. So many doctors tried various ways, technological ways. They tried various machines that operated on him. However, all of the machines failed in making him survive.
Well, let's go to treating incurable diseases, such as paralysis of the body. As mentioned before, paralysis of the body has become a very dominant disease in our society today. We hear of many people who have car accidents, of many people who do have paralysis of the body, and yet they cannot find curable diseases. Let's go away from also paralysis and let's go to other diseases. Cancer. We have so much people today they are diagnosed with cancer. And if it wasn't for chemotherapy, the amount of survivals wouldn't have been the same. So artificial intelligence has been great in developing and helping these diseases to come to an end.
Okay, finally, for a conclusion, artificial intelligence has both sides to it. From a utilitarian ethical view, actually it can benefit the human race. However, if we look at it from an ecocentric and also an anthropocentric point of view, it can harm the human race. Artificial intelligence can harm opportunities for the workforce, which is harming the human race. So artificial intelligence has both sides to it.
However, artificial intelligence may be a step in the right direction. If we are able to make a complex and accurate artificial intelligence to participate in the medical field, then we will be prospering in our economy, in the human race, and even more.
And finally, for our implications. Artificial intelligence relies on the capabilities of humans. However, humans are the ones who created these artificial intelligence, and still they do rely on the capabilities of humans.
If artificial intelligence remains in progression, this means that there will be less job opportunities for people who work in the medical field.
However, developing technology means better progression in the human race.
Also, technology could cause possible harms to the environment in the future.